أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. In our last session, we talked about mixed and unmixed water, and we said that mixed water is pure in itself, but it cannot purify other things, and you cannot do wudu or ghusl from mixed water. When it comes to unmixed water, we categorized into kur water, qalil water, flowing water, rain water, and well water. And we talked in detail the laws regarding the kur water. Kur water, we said, is the water that is in a container, and that is approximately 384 liters. And with kur water, if there is an impurity that meets the kur water, that falls on into the kur water, it does not become impure straight away, unless the color, the taste, or the color, the taste, or the color, smell, and or the taste is not changed with the color, smell, or the taste of the impurity. We talked in detail the laws regarding the kur water, and we said today, inshallah, we'll continue kur water we have already done. Flowing water, and then the rainwater during downpour, well water, we have qalil water. Flowing water is the water of streams, oceans, river. This is the flowing water. Flowing water should be comprising of three conditions in order to be called flowing water. Number one, it should be obviously flowing. Number two, should be number one, it should be flowing. The water should be flowing. Number two, it should be continuous and permanent. So for example, if there is a water that was flowing water at once, but now it doesn't flow anymore, all right, it won't be called flowing water. So it should be continuous and permanent. So what about the kind of water that only flows in some weathers, like for example spring and summers? All right, every year, only in spring and summers the water is flowing. Otherwise, in other times, as in winters or in autumns, the water is not flowing. Would it be called flowing water? Would it be under the category of, for example, continuous and permanent? Yes, it would be. If every year, during some weathers, it is flowing, then it would be a flowing water. Number three is it should have a natural source, like a spring, stream, or well water. So these are the three conditions. If these three conditions are there, then a flowing water, then a water would be called a flowing water. Flowing water is pure in itself and can purify other things. Flowing water is pure in itself, number one. And number two, it has the potential, it has the capacity to purify other things, which the mixed water, for example, did not have. It could not purify other things, but the pure water and the flowing water can. Number one. Number two, it does not become impure unless the color, taste, and smell is changed. Even though it is qaleel. So, like we talked about pure water, same thing applies here. It does not straight away becomes impure if the flowing water meets impurity, unless the color, taste, or the smell of the flowing water is changed with the color, taste, or smell of the intrinsic impurity, ainu najasa, then it would be impure. What about if the flowing water, it's a stream water, and that flowing water is streaming or flowing from a passage from a way where it is now qaleel, right? So what if it's qaleel? Then the same law applies, that it does not become impure unless the color, taste, or the smell of it is changed. Yes, it's not going to change. As long as it is flowing water, all those three conditions meet, then same rule applies, that if the color, taste, or the smell of the water is changed with the color, smell, or the taste of the intrinsic impurity, like blood, urine, right, then it would be called impure. All right. Rainwater is pure in itself, like flowing and cool water, and can purify other things. We're not talking about a rainwater that after rain has gathered. We are talking about the rainwater during downpour. All right, this condition is there. We have mentioned it already. It's pure in itself, like the qur and flowing water, and it also can purify other things. It does not become impure unless color, taste, and smell is changed. So same thing that we talked about in flowing water. It does not become impure unless the color, taste, or the smell is changed with the color, taste, or smell of the intrinsic impurity and najasa. Okay. What about the water that after the downpour is there? Would it still be called on the ground, right? Or on the road? There is rainwater after the downpour. There's a water gathered. Would that water be called rainwater, or would it be called qaleel water, qur water? What water would it be called? If the gathered water is 384 liters or more than that, then it would be called qur water. Or otherwise, the water would be called the qaleel water. It won't be called rainwater. It won't come after, it won't be categorized as rainwater. All right. Then is well water. Well water is again pure in itself, can purify other things. So well water, like rainwater, like flowing water, like qur water, is pure in itself and has the potential capacity to purify other things. It does not become impure unless the color, taste and smell is changed. Same thing like flowing rain and cool water, it does not become impure unless the color, taste or the smell is changed. I should rather write here or so that is taste, color or smell, any one of the three, all right? Or, okay, not and. So any one of the three if it's changed with the color, smell, taste of the ainun najasa, of the impurity, not the thing that is impure, right? It should have the color or the taste or the smell of the ainun najasa. If that is there, then it would be impure. Otherwise, it's pure. One condition that should be there in a well water in order to be called well water is that it should have a natural source. Natural source should be there. So a water that is in a well won't be called a well water just because that water is in a well and people call it well. If it has a natural source, the water is coming out from a natural source, then that water would be called a well water. Qalil. It is the water less than 384 liters. So these are the ahkam sharia. We have to follow them as it is. And when it comes to qalil water, if it's half a liter, if it's 1 liter, if it's 5 liters, if it's 382 liters, all of these kinds would be qalil water. They won't be called qur water. If it is 384 liters, then it's called qur waters. Otherwise, the water would be qalil water, number one. Number two, it is pure. It is pure and it can purify other things. So it is pure and it can purify other things like the qur, flowing well and rainwater. Qalil water also that is less than 384 liters can purify other things too. Now, this law regarding the qalil water is different than the other unmixed water, ma'ul mutlaq. When it comes to meeting impurity, as soon as the impurity has fallen on the qalil water, as soon as the impurity meets the qalil water, all of that qalil water is impure, whether the taste or the color or the smell has not changed. As soon as the impurity meets with the qalil water, it's going to be considered as impure. All right. So we will not wait for the color, taste, or the smell to be changed. With regards to qalil water, for example, there's a person who's in a situation where he has used the water for wuzu or ghusl. Now he doesn't have any other water. He wants to reuse that water for ghusl or for wuzu. Can he do that or no? Yes, he is allowed to do that. Given that there is no impurity in the water, he can reuse the water for wuzu or ghusl. Flowing water. With regards to flowing water, because we do not have space, with regards to flowing water, if there is a water stagnant at the end of a stream, for example, there is a stream, it has a source, it is flowing, all of the conditions are there, it has a natural source, everything. Now, what about that stream water? What about that stagnant water that is at the end of the stream water? Would that stagnant water be flowing water? No, it won't be called flowing water because the water is stagnant and it's not flowing. And with regards to the water that comes out of the taps, that kind of water which is flowing, which has a source, which is flowing in the pipes or the buildings, that water, if it is 384 liters or more, it's going to be called kur water. If it's less than 384, it's going to be called the qalil water. So these are some of the laws regarding qalil, kur, rain and well water, all of the kinds of the water. Inshallah wa ta'ala, we'll continue with these laws in our next session. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.